Hey, how you doing? Thanks for downloading the show. Welcome to Garden Fork Radio. It's the land of done is better than perfect. Today, Nicole and I are here. I'm going to tell you about this new dog food that cures diarrhea. How's that?
And yeah, I can't wait to hear about that. I'm sorry. Focus, Nicole. I'm here for that, even though I don't have dogs. But my kids really, really want a dog. So we can circle back to that. If anybody has any recommendations for dogs, for families, for a reluctant mom who needs a low-key dog that she knows she's going to end up taking care of for the next 15 years.
Oh, I have some of that. Okay. First, I wanted to share a cool street find. I went down to the little coffee shop. I went to go journal. So when I go to this little coffee place and I just bring up my iPad and I write. And on the way home this morning, there was a box of computer cables one of my neighbors put out on the sidewalk. And I got like 4 cables that were probably be like $10 or $15 a piece. Like I needed a spare. Sometimes I hardwire my laser printer to the laptop when the Wi-Fi just doesn't connect. You know, you're like, well, the heck with it. I got some HDMI cables, and there's a USB 3.0 cable called, I think, a Class 3. Anyway, it was just one of those, wow. But I didn't take the whole box, which I'm very proud of because it was a big box. But
Now,
I
Eric,
took a picture of it, and then I put it on our... we have a Google group for the block, and I put it on. It's called a street find. Hey, street find, this person's giving away this stuff. And so maybe someone else will go save some of those cables from the dump.
All right, so a couple things here. I'm a little worried that we need a cable intervention. I had to do a cable intervention on Brent. We had a lot of cables. I mean, so many cables. Yes. Brent loves cables. And of course, anytime I get rid of a cable, that's the cable we need next.
Yes.
But this was years ago. This is the best practical joke I've ever played on anybody because I hate pranks. But my sister's son, who I dearly love, really loves cables too. So when we divested of many of our cables, I put them in priority flat mail boxes, 4 of them. And I mailed them sequentially to her. So her son got a box of cables like every other day for a week. And she still yells at me about this. So, and she loves practical jokes. Anyway, that was a solid one. But the cables, back to the cables and the free stuff. I love the free stuff. I love the street finds. I've started following a guy on Instagram who does that in Manhattan. And the stuff he finds, Eric, he finds money. He finds all kinds of stuff in garbage bags before the trash comes in Manhattan. Yeah. He finds gold. It's crazy to me what people are throwing away.
Yes, it also might be an eviction, but maybe, or the person died and they have to clean out the apartment really quick. And they don't even look. They just throw it all in.
If he knows the backstory, he like throws that in. I think it's called Trash Guy, New York City, NYC or something. I do enjoy the backstories too. I mean, he just is walking around the really rich areas, and you got a couple extra Coach bags, some Prada. You've just got to get rid of it. Like, there's no other option. But
it takes a special kind of person to go through those black bags in the middle of Manhattan, though.
Oh, yeah, with the rats and in the rain and all the stuff. But we have a bunch of groups, which I know we've talked about, free groups on, Facebook and groups.io, where people post that, hey, I've got an extra mattress, got an extra bed, got an extra whatever it is. Does anybody need this? And I love that type of sharing. Or just putting it out in front of your house like you do up in Connecticut, free, take this.
And the Buy Nothing app, which has worked really well for me and my friends. Just give it away.
Yeah. Here, take it, please. Move it along. But we did just get rid of a bunch of cables.
Yeah, there are some specific ones I was actually going to order. And I was like, well, here they are. So instead of taking the whole box, I took 4. So.
Along those lines, we had a bunch of bad cables, e-waste. And so DC, we've talked about this, has the great e-cycling thing, but it's like once a month and, you have to do all these things. I just learned Staples is now a recycling center. So they will take your cables, batteries, light bulbs, old computers. I mean, they took an electric kettle that didn't work anymore and they recycle it apparently for free.
Yay. So you can go
So,
to Best Buy or Staples. So,
oh, Best Buy does it too. Okay, well, that's a good tip.
yeah.
All right, well, tell us about this dog food, please.
So the Labradors are Labradors and they will put anything in their mouths. So they also like to eat half dead things.
Oh,
And
gosh.
when we're in Brooklyn at our apartment, we have Prospect Park, which is a 500-acre park right next to us, and they have a dog beach there on one of the ponds. And I mean, they don't really have that green algae bloom or the red algae bloom, but there are times where they get in that water and their stomachs turn sideways. It happens every once in a while. So Spiker had the runs, and of course, it's always happens. Starts in the middle of the night, you know. So luckily, we have a little
Oh,
backyard,
jeez.
and we have a urgent care vet group here called Bond Vet, which is going national. I think they're on the East Coast, and it's great because you can literally go on their site and just pick a time and walk in. And what they usually do, I mean, we've been there so many ways, had so many Labradors and so many. Anyway, what they always do is they check them. They do this body check. If they're dehydrated, they give them, they call it the camel hump. They put saline in their back. And they always give them this shot called the Serenia or Serene, but it's like $110, $120 injection. And that clears the diarrhea up almost immediately. And then they give us probiotics and basically the Psyllium Husk, which is Metamucil without the flavoring, to give them as well. So this time we went, and the vet tech comes in, you talk to the vet tech, and the vet comes in and you tell them the same thing. I don't know
Right.
why they do this. And the doctor this time, who was great, she's like, "Well, we're going to give you some stuff to take home with." And I said, "We're not doing the Serenia shot." She goes, "No, we're not doing that." And I was like, "Okay." And they gave me this Hills nutrition. It's called It's called Hills Prescription Diet Gastrointestinal Biome Wet Dog Food. And overnight, that with the Psyllium Husk and the probiotic pills, it was gone. It was like back to being normal Spiker. And
Oh, it's
usually this would
interesting.
take several days without going to the vet. It takes like 4 or 5 days to clear up. And sometimes you don't know, is it bad? Are they bleeding to death inside? Which we have had happen to one of our dogs. So anyway, this is a prescription food, but our vet was like, look, if you just want to keep some of this on hand, the gastrointestinal biome food, order it on Chewy and just put my name in with Bond Vet and the address, and I'll approve the prescription for you. So they didn't try and upsell me. They have it there, but they're like, just go buy it on Chewy. And that was
Huh.
great. So I bought a 12 pack or a 6 pack of it. And when you go on Chewy, and then, they're not, this is not anything that's sponsored, but it'll say, this is a prescription. Do you have the prescription? If not, list your doctor and we'll contact them. So you don't have to like fax them a prescription or anything. Chewy must have like I don't know, an app or an email or something system for the
Right.
vets. And then I bought the probiotic pills. It's called Nutramax Proviable, which is on Chewy. And I'll list this all in the show notes. And now I'm ready. And I don't, because the vet visit's $300, you know?
I know.
And
Yeah.
it's interesting because they were like basically saying in a nice way, you don't have to come here every time. You can, if this food doesn't work, then you can come see us.
Right. Well, it's funny because I have a friend who's like always wait and see with her kid. And then I have a friend who like goes immediately. If anything's wrong with the kid, they go immediately to the doctor. And Oscar hurt his ankle skateboarding, and he twisted it. And you're like, he can still walk on it. It's not broken.
Yeah.
Like, do I need to go to the urgent care? Do I not need to go to the urgent care? And so we ended up with this time we did not go, and we waited it out a day later after some rice. It was fine. But But it is nice when the veterinarian's like, hey, you don't need to come right away. Like, try
Yeah,
this first.
I love it.
Try the rice.
There's different probiotics on the Chewy site, and this one it's in a pink box. You'll notice it right away. Because some of the other ones are more expensive for fewer doses. I don't know if it's the same dose, but this is what we use, and it worked really well.
Okay.
But you said you give your kid rice. Did you? What did that mean?
Well, what's it called? Rest, ice. It's an acronym.
Oh,
Compression, elevation.
oh, damn,
Yeah. So for
darn.
that's
Oop.
any torn, that's what they say to do. So, and then you mentioned hot when I texted you, and he did get in the tub, and he said that also gave him some relief. So,
Yeah,
man,
when you
there's
have a
always
soft tissue or muscle injury, right away they say to ice it, and then in the long term to heat it. But it just depends on which physical therapist you ask, because they all have different opinions. But
they'll have a
I'm a
different approach.
I'm a big fan of a heating pad or one of those. They're buckwheat husk. They're sewn into they look like they're heating pads. You microwave these heating pads that don't have a plug. And I have one that'll drape on my shoulders and my neck because my shoulders lock up sometimes. And yeah, those are good things.
I
So
love that.
he's recovering from the sprain then.
Yeah, he's fine. He's 14, and it just immediately was better 2 days later. Um, so is it maple syrup? Syrup? What is the maple situation?
Our trees are actually not turning colors. They're dropping their leaves, and there's a fungus on a lot of them. So the last couple of years have not been good for the sugar maples in the southern tier. I call it the southern tier. And just plants in general. There are funguses, blights, diseases that are more southern in nature in the states, and as the our area warms more, those diseases and blights and stuff are coming north, and the trees don't always have a defense to get them. And the sugar maples are hurting this year, so we'll tap the trees in February and we'll see what happens. But I'm always really conservative with tapping the tree anyway. But we'll have
Right.
to see what happens with that. I actually bought maple syrup in the store the other day for a recipe.
Oh God. Okay, so I was cleaning out my basement. Apparently, is like never going to be clean. So I was cleaning it out again. I guess it's kind of like your workspace, right?
Yes.
It just gets dirty. So I decided to clean out our all of our food area, and I start counting the maple syrup jugs that we have from Costco.
Oh,
And I'm now in competition with Canada for the maple syrup reserve.
strategic
Nine, we had,
reserve.
yes, the strategic reserve. I have 9 bottles.
Oh, you should give those away.
No, they don't ever go bad.
Well, that's
Somebody
true.
else said that. They're like, just give that to your, like at Christmas, like give one to the postman, give one to the UPS guy.
Well, sugar is a preservative, and the sugar content in maple syrup is, I believe, 60%. So that's a pretty high number. Yeah.
I mean, I think it was a pandemic thing where I just like kept, I don't know. I have no idea. I obviously paid zero attention to what I was buying. But now it's firmly on the list of do not buy.
DNB.
It happens.
I did a web order from Costco last week to get essentials like mouthwash and stuff, because you don't need to be a member to shop on their website. You can't get some of their super duper deals on like large TVs without your shopping ID card online, but I don't care. But a big blow to me was they have a line of their own products, a Kirkland brand of all sorts of things.
Yeah.
They've stopped selling Kirkland peanut butter.
They have?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, that's going to be a problem in my house. Well,
Yes.
when we bought the Volvo, they gave us $2,000 off because we were Costco members, and that has paid for my Costco membership for the rest of my life.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a pretty good deal. And we have the executive membership, so we get 3% back every year of everything we buy, which is not nothing, but I don't know. It pays for the membership. I've been been a member of Costco since I was in high school. So
Yeah, the Costco near me just is not pleasant to go to, so I just take the hit. I mean, I've joined the Park Slope Food Co-op again, so that it's an amazing grocery store. They have the highest sales per square foot of that kind of store in the United States. So it's a crazy place, but it kind of
yeah,
helps my depression.
we have a couple co-ops near us. The Tacoma Food Co-op, and then there's one that's called Glut that's very close, and it's really old school. But it's almost too old school. Like you go in and they don't really know where anything is. They're like,
Oh,
yeah, I think I saw that. But you know that you can get fresh bread, you can get the stuff in bulk in the big containers or whatever. Yeah, and it's super close, so I should go there more. Okay, so the other topic I wanted to talk about is the mental load. And I asked you if you knew what that was, and you said no. So the idea around the mental load is that, and this is going to be a little bit gendered, but men and women have different things they're concerned about.
mhm.
And in married couples, women, and I mean, men have a mental load too, but it's a different mental load. But, you know, it running in the background, to use a computer analogy in my head, is like getting the different food that we need, making sure the kids have all their different stuff that they need, making sure that they have clothes, making sure that they have like doctor's appointments, forms are filled out. And there's a lot of things in our gendered world that the women are working on that the men don't even understand is happening. And I think it probably happens in same gendered relationships as well. One person's that person and the other person isn't. But years ago, Brent was on this kick when he became a manager to read management books to learn
Yeah.
more about being a manager. So he picked up this book called Drop the Ball because he thought it was a management book. Didn't pay a ton of attention to the back of it, and he starts reading it, and it's this fascinating article about this, or book about this couple. Were both like Wharton graduates, like super smart people. They had had a kid, and the wife was going crazy. She was doing all, working 12 hours a day because they're business people. And then they had the kids. And then she said that one day she looked over and her husband's just like watching basketball. And she's like, we've got so much stuff to do. And how can you watch the basketball? So they did this thing that I think is so genius is they made a list of every granular thing both of them did with respect to their relationship. So for like one of the things was like opening the mail, processing the mail. Another one was, I mean, she was super granular, like picking up the dry cleaning,
Yeah.
And so they made this whole list, and then they reallocated who was in charge of what. And the key thing that this woman did, which is the title of the book, is Drop the Ball, is she didn't micromanage her husband doing these things or not doing them. So he had taken a job in Africa, so he was going to be commuting to Africa from New York.
Wow.
And the two things that he had taken on were the dry cleaning and the mail. And so he was gone, I guess, for 6 months. And so the mail came, and she ended up just putting it in a big bin. Like she did not process it. And even the nanny at some point was like, so would you like me to go through the mail for you? And she's
Yeah.
like, nope, my husband said he's taking care of it. He's going to take care of it. And so she's like, I knew there were a couple invitations in there, events we were going to miss, but we were going to miss them. And, maybe a couple bills are in there too. So but he said he was going to be responsible. And so he came home and he's like, why is all the mail here? And she's like, you said you were taking care of it. And
Wow.
so I think that's when the light bulb went on in his head. But she had also, he was also supposed to be taking care of the dry cleaning. And the dry cleaner apparently was in their building. So like one night, when they first did the switch, it was like, she knew the dry cleaner closed maybe at 8 o'clock, which seems late to me, but whatever. So she was worried about him getting home in time to pick up the dry cleaning and bring it home because she needed clothes for the next day or something. And, she doesn't go down. She doesn't do it. And then he shows up home at, 8:30 without the dry cleaning. And so she's a little bit apoplectic. Well, then the doorbell rings, and it turns out that the dry cleaner will deliver in the building.
Ah,
and they just deliver after they close. And so that was, that was like one of their first successes where she was like, I don't have to control everything. Um, but anyway, I think it's an interesting concept to like think about. And the book is, it's a good book because it really, the funny part was that Brent thought it was a management book, and it was a management book. It was more of a household management.
Oh, I love it.
I know. I do too. I do
I'm
too.
trying to
So,
drop yard maintenance up at the little house because we have the house and we have some grass, and then there's this buffer area before the tree line, which is like 20 feet wide sometimes, and it's goldenrod and wild berries and little oak trees, and we're trying to drop. We planted some like butterfly bushes and trying to get those to grow, and all the wildy stuff takes over. And I'm like, no, I want that gone. I want the ferns saved. Pull out the phlox and the goldenrod. And then I'm still trying to do it, but I'm getting better at like, screw the buffer zone. I'm just going to let grow whatever grows there. And
right? Grow.
it's hard to let go of that because I'm like, well, I want it to look nice, and I'm like, I just don't have the time, and it's a drain on me. I'd rather go do more welding in my garage.
Well, yeah, right. That's all we have is time. You have to, it's the time issue, right? Like,
Yeah.
what are you doing your time? What are you doing with your time? And I can, when she was talking, I mean, if my husband had been just watching basketball while I was like being crazy,
Wow.
I'm glad the light bulb went on for her.
Yeah, I don't watch sports,
Um,
so
yeah, no, there's a great graphic novel that's called The Mental Load. That's the name of the graphic novel. It's by a French author, but I actually really, if you get that from the library, it's actually really well done as well.
oh, I like
Um,
I like graphic novels.
yeah, I do too. I love them.
They're
And
kind of
I
like
love the
IKEA
library.
how-to instructions.
Hopefully a little easier to understand.
Yeah.
Yeah, so everything else is, I'm feeling pretty good today. I woke up and I was like, I've got a lot of stuff to do. I'm gonna meet with you. I'm trying to really nail down, get things going for the fall. I don't know. I've been in a little bit of a fugue, which you were mentioning too.
Yeah, I have almost every morning I wake up depressed. So I basically try and mask it. It's called wearing the mask, and people who deal with this. And I find it very hard to get out of it, but I know a lot of several things that will help or make it, or it just goes away. And the key thing is exercise. But there is this battle in my head, uh, trying to exercise, but I'd rather go eat a bowl of cereal and watch YouTube videos on my iPad. And the bowl of cereal or oatmeal on the iPad has been winning lately. And then this
Mm.
morning, I was just like, I don't want to be depressed around my wife. So I finally I don't know, I got myself to exercise in front of the TV. And I just picked a real simple exercise routine from HasFit, HASFIT on YouTube. They're they're not like, let's all get buffed up. They're just two people, and they're super chill. But it's so weird how your brain has these ruts, these habits. And like it's a smoking habit or a gambling habit. My habit is to go eat, and can eat constantly if my stomach allowed me, instead of, hey, go exercise, hey, go do your journaling, hey, use your new map to write down what you've been eating, journaling. So I just find that very interesting. I wanted to share. I'm curious if anyone has the same kind of struggles, and I just wanted to share mine, because if you are having this struggle, you're not the only one. And we could talk. It's radio@gardenfork.tv.
Yeah, I think that one of the things that gets me up every day is coffee. Like I
Oh,
really look forward to that cup of coffee. That that's enough to do it sometimes.
oh, wow.
Just
Wow. I
a
look
little.
forward to eating. Like, I will eat two bananas before we go walk the dogs,
Uh-huh.
just so I don't. But then I'm like, the whole time I'm like, I'm really hungry while we're walking the dogs. And I'm like, but I can't eat oatmeal and then exercise. And
Right.
and you're supposed to, the doctor and all that supposed to eat oatmeal's good in the morning, low glycemic or whatever. But yeah, I do. I mean, I have things to look forward to when I wake up, but there's just this, it just feels like someone poured glue all over you, all over your body, like liquid Elmer's glue.
Now, do you guys get up at the same time?
Yeah, we got up at like 6 in the morning because my wife likes to walk the dogs in the park together before she goes off to work.
And do you guys go to bed at the same time? Are you getting enough sleep?
I get enough sleep. Yeah, it just depends.
Okay.
My wife travels a lot. She works late a lot. So it depends on that. But
Okay.
yeah, I've tried to gotten better at just sleeping longer. Makes a big difference.
Yeah, there's a great article that actually I just sent to Rick this morning about research at Berkeley, and just new research about how important sleep is for changing out the chemicals in your body. And I guess some families are not sleep protective. We are sleep protective in our family, which I just learned that term. I don't, for school, I wake up the kids, but basically for no other time do we really try never to wake anybody up. Like everybody wake up on their own.
Yeah.
But thinking back, no, my dad was not sleep protective. It's like, get up, get up, get up. You've got work to do. And I was a night owl, so it was really hard for me. I'm still a night owl, but I've adjusted with kids to going
Yeah,
to bed.
the teenage brain needs a lot of sleep.
Oh my gosh.
So does the Labrador brain. They're asleep right now.
They're kind of the same, aren't they?
Well, yeah.
Okay, so what is your recommended dog? Talk to me.
Do not get a terrier or a terrier mix.
Okay.
If the dog, I'm assuming I would suggest a mixed breed from a shelter or something like that. I would like bull terriers and pit bulls. I think 80% of them are incredibly sweet, but there are some that are just naturally aggressive or they've been trained to be aggressive, and that I would not do that for a first dog or someone who's dog reluctant. If they look like a collie or look like an Australian Shepherd mix, or a Labrador mix, but just be careful. If they have a real blocky head, they might be like Labrador and Pit Bull. That doesn't always go well. And if you are reluctant and you know that you're going to be the one taking care of the dog, I wouldn't get one.
Okay, so that's where I've landed too, is that like I've given my children everything they've ever wanted.
Yep.
And this may be the line. This may be the line for me.
Because when the dog's throwing up at midnight or has diarrhea at midnight, you're going to be the one taking him out or cleaning up the rug.
Oh, geez. Oh, geez.
Yeah.
Did you remember that YouTube? It was that old. It was when the Roombas first came out, and this guy did the video of, I guess the cat had some kind of intestinal issue, and the Roomba turned on automatically.
Oh.
Yeah, that was a bad scene.
Yes. But yeah, I mean, like pit bull terriers, my friends adopt only them, and 80% of them are great and sweet. But there's just some that are, you shouldn't be your first dog, and you should be proactive in your training. Do not use a choke collar. Do not use a spike collar. For anyone, if your dog is pulling, get a bridle style, basically a bridle instead of a collar. I use the one called Gentle Leader. Follow the instructions. There's videos about it online. And it takes a week, but once you do it, like I can hold Andy, who used to pull, I can literally just hold her leash with my thumb and forefinger. I can barely hold the leash, and she walks right next to me the whole time.
Oh,
and that's because of the bridle. And now, since we've been doing that for years now, I put the harness on her, and she still stays right next to me, and she'll only walk on my right side because I trained her with the bridle to walk on my right side.
Oh. So does each dog get a side, or do you each take a dog?
Well, when we're together, each takes a dog, but when I walk them together, Spiker knows she walks on my left. So
okay.
And don't overfeed them. Do not feed them ice cream. Do not feed them people food. If you feed them from the table, you're screwed because they're just gonna You're just going to beg
coming
all the
back.
time. Because when we eat, the dogs go in the other room because they're bored. And they know we won't give them any food.
They're like, you people eating again.
It's hard to say no to dogs. But, I mean, I give them biscuit treats during the day, but they come out of the biscuit drawer in the kitchen, not, and dogs like Labradors are very treat-oriented, food-oriented, so they're easy to train. If you get like a bird dog, like I don't know why people have like Springer Spaniels in New York City, because they take to the park and they just are off and running to, look at birds or whatever. And they're not as food-driven, but if you get a food-driven dog, you're set.
Okay. All right. Well, those are all. I mean, we would have to get a hypoallergenic one, but then I just read an article that a lot of people got like Labradoodles and hypoallergenic dogs during the pandemic, and they're giving them up in high numbers, which is just heartbreaking to me. I mean, that's the other thing. I have a girlfriend who's like, we don't return adopted things, whatever the thing is.
Yes.
And I agree with that.
Yeah, I wouldn't. If there's a hypoallergenic problem in the house, I just wouldn't get a dog. Because terriers, I think they have hair instead of fur, but they are so wound up. My friends have a terrier that hates men, and they didn't train him to do that. But as soon as I walk in the room, and we can't go over there and visit now unless they put the dog in the bedroom.
And then the dog barks, I'm sure.
Well, after that, when they put him in the bedroom, the dog goes to sleep. But if we are sitting in the room trying to have dinner, and the dog just barks at me nonstop, or barks at any man.
Well, so Montana, who's been on the podcast, he has an Australian Shepherd, and when he adopted Sully, the woman was so adorable. They had like a 4-hour conversation because Sully was adopted, and she just really wanted to like learn about Montana and his life and his family. I mean, he said that he basically gave her his whole life, but to her credit, Sully is like the perfect dog for Montana. Like. Yeah. They were, so that woman was some kind of dog whisperer, but she only does Australian Shepherds.
Yeah, there's whole subsets, different rescue groups, and they do Aussies, or they do the terriers, or lab mixes. Yeah, there's a whole groups out there.
Well, and I think Rick does that. He helps with dogs that are
the little
rescued, right?
Wheaten Terrier. I think he has a Wheaten Terrier. He's yelling back at the radio right now.
Do you people listen to me? We listen half.
Wow, we filled up a half hour here.
All right, great. Well, should we head to the after show?
Yeah. Hey, everyone. This is Eric's pitch, as it always is. But I posted the previous after show on Patreon as public instead of just for the patrons. I'll link to it in the show notes here. But you could also go to patreon.com/gardenfork. And it should show up as one of the first posts there. And you can get an idea what the after show is. And some of the posts I do there are unlocked as well. It's a brain dump. It's Eric's brain dump every week of what I'm working on. I don't do Instagram anymore. I don't do Facebook anymore. I just don't like what they're doing to our world. So there's 1,000 posts of mine on Patreon. A cup of coffee a month. If you're into that, great. If you can't, don't feel like you have to. We'll still do the show here. But yeah, we're going to do the after show. If you have some thoughts on dogs or depression or probiotics or Costco, it's radio@gardenfork.tv. Thank you, Nicole.
Awesome. Yeah.
All right. See you guys. Make it a great day. Garden Fork Radio is produced by Garden Fork Media, LLC in Brooklyn, New York. The music in the show is licensed from audioblocks.com and uniquetracks.com.